Hey guys, it's Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Piofiore 1926, continuing Dante's route. We just started Chapter 5, and we're taking a break and going and getting snacks from Julia. That's basically what we were doing, so. Julia wasn't in the salon, so we went to look for her in the kitchen. I have a crumb in my tooth and it's bugging me. Sorry. We were surprised to find that she was nowhere to be found. We were surprised to find that she couldn't be found. Interesting. We couldn't find her. I don't know why. That just seems so odd. Find and found. In that case, let me make you a cafe latte. Would you mind waiting in the salon for now, Dante? Oh, you took the time to help me with work today. So let me prepare us drinks. Huh? I was taken aback by the sudden gesture. Is it because he's the rich mafia boss, or because he's a man? I'm not sure what we're more surprised about. You're a man and you know how to make yourself a drink? In 1926? No, I'm just kidding. But also not a little bit. This reminds me of when we were living at the hideout. Hideout. Dante gets out of the bath to meet Nicola before he's fully dressed. I think I remember this CG that's going to pop up and... Ready for it? Are you ready for it? Mm-hmm. Yes, I do. Yes, I do remember this. It kind of actually, in a way, doesn't really look like Dante, which is kind of funny. Is it me saying that, Dan? Or is it supposed to... I'm assuming it's us, not Nicola. But no, but put on your clothes quickly. Oh. Yeah. Put on your clothes quickly. Yeah, that was... I don't know why that... I like kind of all turned into one more... Anyway. I left the room obediently when Space ordered me to, but I saw that she was blushing. That's because you're topless. I'm assuming they come out butt fucking naked. He's probably got a towel around his waist, but I'm just saying, we're not used to seeing topless men. Although, when we were at the hideout, isn't this when we had sex with them? Might have been before. I'm just saying we boned them. Oh no, it wasn't here. We were at that hotel. Well, okay, the room looks like the background. That's the hotel room, which was also like Teo's house room. You know what I mean? That background was different. So I thought that was more like a hotel than at the hideout. Still, anyway. When I returned after getting dressed, Nicholas showed me the bottle of wine he brought. In Space returned to the kitchen to prepare a meal, leaving me and Nicola behind. It seems you two have gotten quite friendly. He said such a thing without any warning. Well, she did mention some disagreements, but fighting is proof of a close friendship. Did he bring it up, or did she? Nicola continued lightly, even though I knew we could read the expression on my face. But judging by her reaction, it seems pretty clear that you two aren't lovers yet. I fucking love Nicola. Well, you two are getting close, but you haven't fucked her yet. Jesus! Absolutely shit that I expect to come out of Nicola's mouth. It was becoming difficult to breathe, but Nicola relentlessly added more and more to it. In that case, I don't think it was gentlemanly of you to do that in front of the Signorina. That? And coming out naked even with your trousers on. Oh, okay, so he was just topless. Not wearing a towel, pants. Still topless, though. Was that wrong? Of course it was. She was raised at the church. Doubt she's ever seen a naked man before. He's like, I wasn't naked, I was topless. Listen, Dante, keep your tits to yourself unless asked. Etiquette requires being dressed at the very least. And don't tell me you've been sitting down for breakfast with your hair still a mess. I don't think I've done that yet. However, with the situation being what it was, I wasn't sure I had paid it enough attention. Rather, I've been focusing my thoughts on work as much as possible to avoid thinking about it. And the idea of the two of us living together... I'll be more careful. All I could do now was repent. No, I needed to reclaim my honor. Dante's such an idiot. He's so adorable. He can run a fucking mafia family and he will take you down if you oppose him. But he has no idea how to deal with living in a house with a woman. Like, it's so fucking adorable. I can't handle it. I glanced at my cousin, but it seemed he had no further advice to dispense. My head spun frantically as I wondered how to conduct myself moving forward. Nicholas, Dan's puppet. You know it. He's like, Dante, you're an idiot. I love it. His Space came in with dinner and a bright smile, halting my train of thought. I love it so much. Sorry. This reminds me of when we were living at the hideout. Despite Dante's lack of experience with housework, he made some cafe latte for the two of us to enjoy. So funny, like, I'm reading, despite Dante's lack of experience with housework. Oh, okay. Also that. I hope he'll be alright. Dante frowned slightly, sensing what was going through my mind. I can at least make a couple of cups of cafe latte and just wait in the salon for now. He's like, I am well aware of how to pour coffee from a cup. From a pot into a cup. Oh, well. I don't know how to make a cafe latte, but I'm pretty sure if I mean, I feel like I should know, but you know what I mean. It's one of those, like, it's just put some things together. Like, okay. He put a gentle hand on my shoulder to move me out of the kitchen. Not much else to say. I walked to the salon as instructed. Now, if it was like, okay, Dante, I'm going to need you to bake a dessert, I don't think he'd be able to handle that, and I kind of want to see that scene. Because I just feel like there'd be flour fucking everywhere. And you'd be like, you don't even need flour for the dessert we're having. What are you doing? Dante, you just take the tub of ice cream out of the freezer. The fuck are you actually doing? I waited quietly on the sofa, and a short while later, Dante emerged from the kitchen with her drinks, just as he had promised. I hope they're awful, just because it'd be kind of funny. Grazie, Dante. And if you don't mind. Dante sat beside me as I took a quick sip of the cafe latte. Oh, God. The milk was smooth and sweet, balancing out the bitterness of the coffee. Why did I say coffee like I was saying latte? I think I was thinking in my head, like, isn't a latte just, like, steamed milk and, like, coffee and, like, just the way you put it together? Like, you know what I mean? Anyway. I was really be surprised if it's like, how did you mess this up? Like warm milk and coffee? Like, there was quite a lot of sugar in it, but with how tired I was, the sweetness was soothing. It tastes wonderful. The one you made before was good too, but somehow tastes even better. Although there is a part, I did want him to make it horrible, just so we could kind of giggle about the fact that the man couldn't make coffee. But also at the same time, the fact that he made it, like, wonderfully and it's delicious is kind of sweeter. You're like, oh, look at you. No one had to pour coffee. It's like, you know what I mean? He blushed a bit at my praise. And also then this is cuter too. You're like, oh, you made a really good cup of coffee. And he's like, thanks. I mean, I know it's more than that, but you know what I'm saying? Like, well, you're studying English for me. That, well, makes me happy. And so I wanted to find something I could do for you, too. Dante. It would take a long time to improve my cooking or housework, so I've been practicing making these since you praised me for it before. Oh my god, that's even cuter! Stop it! I rescind my needing it for it to be bad. I like the fact that he just, like, sneaks in and makes lattes just to practice so he can make us one someday. Stop it. I hate him for being so goddamn cute and adorable and making me fawn. It hurts. It hurts my heart. I can't take it. I understand that feeling all too well. I truly would do anything in my power for your sake. He's always fucking blushing, too. It's goddamn amazing. My cheeks grew warm at the thought that he really did want to try his best for me. I know, right? Mine too. Face hurts. The single cup of cafe latte was filled with Dante's tenderness and hard work. When did you have the time to practice? Well, I just found time whenever I could, but I feel it was well worth the effort. I wanted to be prepared so that I could make you smile when the opportunity arose. I'm just glad it turned out well. Dante smiled shyly. It makes me happy knowing someone is doing their best for me. I really must thank you for that. Happy that you did this for me too, Dante. I took another sip to savor his work. Really is good. I was more than energized after having the sweet cafe latte that Dante had made for me. Okay, we're just going straight up into upbringing, alright. It's like they do the automatic ones before you're finished reading a sentence. I'm assuming we're Teo again. Our brother that's not our brother, apparently, but... I often found myself gazing at the picture. My little sister. Or what she's like. I'm assuming it was supposed to be him as a child, but whatever. It seems she went away when she was a baby. I wasn't giving many details about it. Or if Mama and Papa would only look at her if she came back. Would they not need me anymore? That was a scary thought. But I know, I think when it's like up on the screen like a thought in his head, not like a current, you know what I mean, when he's reminiscing? And it's like the question mark, like he's speaking, but the thought... There's like three versions. You have the people talking, and then you have the kind of thoughts in your head, but then you have the thoughts deeper in your head, like the reminiscing thought. Like, it's just really weird, the two levels of thought. But on these ones, I kind of feel like it's like kid version of him thinking his thoughts. But whatever. If I take good care of her, then maybe I'll be okay. Maybe they'll let me keep staying here if I'm good to my little sister. I was both anxious and scared to meet her. But still, I wanted to see her. And the day must have been a Sunday. And Papa was at home with a day off from work, and Mama was preparing us a hearty meal. I was... For some reason I couldn't remember exactly. Perhaps reading a book or playing. All I remembered was the door slamming open. At once there was a noise and yelling, and Mama and Papa and... Noise and yelling, and Mama and Papa end quickly? Oh no, Mama and Papa had quickly wrapped me in their arms. My stomach suddenly felt hot. So much I could hardly cry out. As my parents held me in their now limp arms, I slowly looked up at the blurring ceiling. Well, and then there's part of it that's like, where you could almost imagine that being Henry, but it was Henry's... Well, it was his... Wasn't Chloe his... Was his older sister or his younger sister? I don't remember. But it'd be really weird if this was... I don't think it is. I think it's supposed to be Teo, because we're not supposed to know in Dante's route that Teo's our brother yet. You know what I mean? He's like, oh, you remind me of my sister. But, like, we found that out in Nicola's route. But again, they're not going to make it clear in this that it's Teo, because we don't know just Dante's route on its own. Yet you don't know that Teo is our brother. You know? You look at it holistically with Nicola's route, we know, but, like, let's just say you did Dante's route first. You wouldn't know. So, it wouldn't make sense for this to be Henry, but this happening, like, the people coming in and killing his parents and shit is like, well, I mean, that happened to Henry, because that was, like, the Falzone family killed his family, right? Didn't they? Didn't they? Didn't he just say that? Didn't he say the Mafia people killed his... Why am I remembering that? Maybe I'm misremembering that, but anyway. So, but it wouldn't make sense for them to, like, blur out his name and not say anything. You know what I mean? You're supposed to be like, I'm wondering who this is. Who are they talking about? And, like, maybe have some suspicions. But anyway. I don't know who's saying how horrible, but how horrible. Look, the kid's alive! Poor thing. You're gonna be fine. I didn't have any strength left to push him away. They took me with them and I began life anew, somewhere far away. At the church. I was now living in a holy place they called the church. That's really sad. So first of all, I'm assuming this is Teo. And then these are our parents. So they had a baby. Aw, baby gets kidnapped by the fucking church. They feel really sad. So then they see a kid who has the same color eye as we do. And is like, oh, let's adopt him. And then the church murders them and takes their other kid. Like, what the fuck do these people do? Like, damn. Shit. And the church wants you to think that they're good. Because this is some bullshit. This whole game is, like, very much anti-church. I'm just saying. Like, it does not make anybody look good. It makes the Mafia kind of look good, which is weird, but... Perhaps my future would have been different had I made different choices at some point in life. When would that choice have been? Everything was trivial to me now. Dreaming about the past wouldn't change the present. I think it stopped the gears of fate. Interesting. I was more than energized after having the sweet cafe latte that Dante had made for me. Oh, we're Dante. After our break, Space insisted on cleaning up, so I headed out of the salon. I tried several times to refuse, but she always managed to have her way when she was determined. As I walked down the corridor, one of my men stopped me to hand over a telegram that had just arrived. I sat in my chair to read what it was about. It was a report from Nicola. The Visconti had not been hit. He had reason to believe that the Chicago Mafia was helping their deals come through safely. I thought they didn't want newcomers in their territory. Something isn't right. I knew the families in Chicago kept the old traditions alive by meeting periodically. It was said they weren't welcoming of those of us entering the American market after them. Furthermore... Oh, that's me. America? You mean in Chicago? Come on, Dante. You know the Mafia in Chicago keeps to themselves, us being outsiders and all. It's been a while since I've done any business with those guys, to be honest. I can't believe Gilbert is backstabbing us. I was just hoping it wasn't true. How could you? Oliver, how could you let him? It's alright, Oliver, I forgive you. You're not in charge. You should still be ashamed of yourself, but I'll forgive you. Gilbert said at dinner that he hasn't been doing much business with them. And that conflicts with Nicola's report. And I would trust Nicola over Gil in this situation. Nicola was too talented in gathering intelligence to share false information. And there had to be a good reason behind all this. It was difficult to imagine that Chicago would welcome the Visconti with open arms. If so, there was a possibility that another person or group was involved in some way. Perhaps this someone was acting as a liaison to further their own agenda. In any case, I can't make a judgment just on this report alone. Didn't Raoul go to, Gil, though? So then you're wondering, is, Raoul helping Gil? And it's like, Gil, again! You backstabbed us by helping Raoul? Really? That motherfucker? I mean, he's beautiful, but, he's a tool. And the report continued. He was asking me which one I wanted. I had managed to narrow it down to a list of candidates, but I hadn't made my decision yet. Can't afford to make a mistake now for the sake of the family's future. Interesting. I mean, we're in chapter 5, all the shit's gonna hit the fan in, the next chapter, you know what I mean? Because chapter 6 is the last one, so, shit. After putting away the cups, I went back to Dante's office to help him with work again. Space, I know you've done a great deal of work already, but would you mind helping me for a bit longer? I'd be happy to. I'm ready for anything. The overwhelming majority of documents could only be reviewed by Dante. I wanted to do what I could to help shoulder the load, so I began reading through more documents as carefully as possible. And this is the last of them. What a relief. I'm glad to hear it, Dante. We were finally done with today's paperwork. I looked out the window at the golden sunset. And thanks to you, I was able to finish everything before dinner. You're a lifesaver. Not at all. I'm just happy that I was able to help you in some way. As tired as my eyes were, my sense of satisfaction far outweighed my fatigue. You know, seeing you here every time I looked up was, well, it was very reassuring. Your presence alone helped make work easier, and now I don't have a reason to yell at Domenico. I'm glad. I appreciated Domenico for giving me this opportunity. I'd definitely make his favorite cannoli for him again. That's exactly why he did it! Well, also because he likes Dante and us, and he's a good person. Oh, that's right. I'm thinking of finishing some calls I need to make before dinner, so... Say no more. I'll go and help Julia. I stood up and left the office so that I wouldn't get in the way of his calls. I peeked into the kitchen. This time Julia was in there. Julia, is there anything I can help you with? Do you have some time? Oh, well then, would you mind keeping an eye on the oven? And the focaccia should be just about ready, but I have to tend to some other things. You can count on me. I followed Julia's orders and helped her get the rest of dinner ready. A few days had passed. Dante had been trying to get in contact with Gil for some reason, but it seemed that Gil was busy too, so they hadn't been able to talk at all. Yeah, Gil's avoiding you. With no other work to assist with, I decided to spend some time reading in the salon. I was continuing where I left off in The Great Gatsby, which I had borrowed from Dante. It wasn't a very popular novel, but it was a very interesting story of an American millionaire's life. It was not a very popular novel. I mean, at the time. But, like, now they make you read in school. Suddenly... Do you have a moment? Senor Jeremy. Okay, so Sergio and Jeremy are the same person. It's really fucking weird how they do this, because everybody else is Domenico, whatever, like Bartolo, everything, Julia. Like Leo, we don't call Leo Senor Cavagnas or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, and then his thing says Leo. But it's like, we call him Senor Jeremy, and like, or Jeremy, or whatever, I don't know how to say it in a like, with a proper Italian inflection, but like, they were mentioning him, and it makes sense, but now it's Sergio, and it's like, did they call him that before? Like, why did this all of a sudden happen like this? You know what I mean? But then again, I don't remember in the very beginning when there was Domenico and there was the other guy that was being a dick to us, who that was. I'm assuming it was this guy, but it's kind of like, you know what I mean? And then with Nicola being like, oh, we used Jeremy's house, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I feel like he's still siding with Raul, and I don't trust him. Because I think he's the one that doesn't like us. You know what I mean? And they used his house, and everybody came over, and like, you know what I mean? Like, I was like, But I just think it's weird that now it's like, we're calling him Senor Jeremy, but it's also Sergio, and it's like, just call him by his first name, because it's like, call everybody else by their first name in this. You know what I mean? So it's just... Anyway, Senor Jeremy called for my attention. Oh, yes, how can I help you? I looked up from the book and turned toward him. It's about the English documents. I heard you handled a great deal of them. As I wondered how I should answer, he suddenly lowered his head. I apologize for the cold treatment I've given you. Forgive me, Signorina. Oh, maybe he's not bad. Or maybe he's just lulling us into a false sense of security. Please, don't worry. I can understand why you didn't see me in a good light. I want to express my thanks as a member of the family. Very fortunate for the Falzone family that we have a woman like you here to support our boss. Thank you, Senor. Senor Jeremy gave me another earnest nod before heading out of the salon. Okay, so either he's actually, like, you know, realized, like, okay, I was a little harsh, but whatevs. Or false sense of security. I still don't trust him. I don't know. Listen. I know I can't trust Gil, and I still trust Gil over this guy, is what I'm saying. I suppose he was just one of the many members of the family who thought about Dante's well-being. Hope. Knowing I'd somehow earned their respect and acceptance made me a bit happy. I don't know, I'm confused. I don't, you know. Oh no, Gil! Gil! Gil, you sure we don't need to get you on any of them calls from the Falzone? Right. Just tell him I'm busy. Got it. It wasn't that I didn't have my doubts. Dinner was great, but it was in the past now. What I needed to think of was the future. This is about time we make our move. Gilbert, are you ready? The car's out front. We're waiting for you now. If anything happens to Oliver in this, Gilbert, because you backstab us and Dante's forced to kill Oliver, I'm gonna be fucking pissed! I will be so mad! I will flip this I will turn this game around and we will go home. Okay? Don't test me, child. Don't test me. Yeah, got it. I'll be there soon. Gil, I cannot fucking believe you. We spent this whole game and you never backstabbed us and you're gonna do it now? How dare you? Dare you? Knowing I had somehow earned their respect and acceptance made me a bit happy. Not Dante should be in his office right now. I went back to reading my novel, thinking that I should bring a cafe latte to him later. This kills me. I was having dinner with Dante tonight. The meal was set and ready on the table. We had minestrone with ripened tomatoes and a dish of sautéed leafy veggies with garlic. There was also bucatini? Whatever, with creamy crab sauce, as well as some char-grilled fish steaks. What's this? A long tubular pasta, slightly thicker than spaghetti. It's common in central Italy. Oh, common to central Italy. Sorry. To central Italy. God. We poured some spumante into our glasses and prepared a toast when suddenly, oh no. Leo came into the salon looking visibly agitated. Boss, I'm sorry to bother you, but we just got this. Leo handed Dante a piece of paper with a message written on it. He looked down at the paper in silence and his expression clouded. I can give you my report in your office. Right. Understood. Leo quickly made his way out of the salon. Dante looked up at me from the note in his hand. Space. Is it? I think I'll need to go to Rome soon. The unexpected news took my breath away. Okay, I was like waiting when suddenly I'm like, oh my god, Gil's leveling an attack at us! No. There's something else happening. After dinner, I returned to my room to get ready for bed. Dante's probably working right now. After he received the message, he finished his meal quickly and headed straight to his office. Why did he need to go to Rome? What was in the message that Leo gave him? He hadn't elaborated further, so I didn't press him for any information, but Dante looked like he had just gotten some very bad news. Fucking Raoul and Gil. But it's kind of one of those, like, why is this happening? No, girl, plausible deniability. Because then when the cops bust him, you're like, I didn't know he said he was going to Rome. I didn't know why. He didn't tell you? No. His business, man. You know, it's like over my head. I'm not smart enough. You know he's in the mafia. He's the, what? You know what I mean? That we can't fake knowing. Well, like, yeah, but I mean, like, he does things. He said he sold art. I didn't know. Stolen art? Forged art? Guns? What? You know what I mean? We couldn't pretend we didn't know about the guns with Gil because he left the boxes in the goddamn hallway and was, like, fucking ranting and raving about this shit. Because, like, you know, part Americans. So, like, we couldn't deny that. We were like, yeah, I mean, I knew about the guns just because there were boxes of them in my fucking entryway. So, like, I mean, if he had tried to be discreet, maybe, but, like, he wasn't. So, I'm just saying. Don't ask, and then we won't have to tell the cops when they come knocking. We'll be like, I didn't know. Yeah, I was worrying too much, but it still bothered me. Did I accidentally click that? Like, oh yeah, no, I read that. As I sat lost in my thoughts, I heard a knock on the door. I hurried to the door with anticipation. Leo or Dante? Okay, I'm like, it can't be Nicola, so. Sure enough, Dante was standing there with a serious expression on his face. We need to talk. Do you have a moment? Of course. Please come in. I have all the moments in the world for you. Sensing his urgency, I beckoned him inside. I was sure that this wouldn't be good news. Will sat down on the sofa and he looked somewhat reluctant to start. Then, as though he had made up his mind, he looked me in the eye. Remember when I said I needed to go to Rome? It's because I need to attend to a certain deal. Miss Space, I'd like you to come with me this time. Huh? I hadn't expected that at all, but the response burst from me in an instant. Of course, I'd love to go with you, but why? I haven't confirmed all the information just yet, but it seems as though the Visconti Gilbert is working against us now. Look at Dante's eyes. He's like, bastard. And it's like, I feel the same way. I mean, we kind of knew, but it still hurts when the truth comes out. What? I'll go into the details once I can confirm without a doubt that this is our situation. You know, it's going to be sad when Gil's there and we're like, you know what, Gil? Not mad, I'm just disappointed. I am disappointed in you, young man. I hope it hurts you, Gil. I hope it stings like this. I think I love Dante's the best because it's so fucking dramatic with Gil betraying us. Like, how dare you? My emotions are all over the What is just so much more entertaining from an emotional roller coaster standpoint. I know you're friends with Gilbert, but I plan to tell you the results of the investigation regardless of the outcome. I knew he was being considerate by telling me, and I looked down in an effort to hide my confusion. Dante, you have your family to care for, and so does he. You're both part of the Mafia, so I knew there was always a possibility that you'd one day face each other as enemies. Girl! No! No! Shut your face! No, we should be like, look, I know there was a point where we could have, but I thought we were past that. But, you know, we even fought the same battles. We're war buddies now, aren't we, Dante? No, I wouldn't say we're buddies. Oh, Dante, you don't need to be embarrassed. See, this is why Dante was like, see, this is why I kept Gil at arm's length, because I knew he'd break my heart. The bromance is dead. Gil, you're such a bastard. See, this is why it hurts. Because Dante was like all embarrassed and didn't want him. He was like, no, we're not friends. Even though he's like, actually, we are kind of friends. And Gil's over there like, we're buds, we're best friends. Let's have a slumber party. And then he's like, and then I'll stab you in the back. Like, how rude is that? Like, that's cold, Gil. That is just rude. It's rude. I forgive you, Dante. Don't you worry that pretty head of yours. I'm not worried at all. I couldn't deny the fact that this was all too sudden. For now, I'm going to contact Gilbert directly and see what he has to say. Only now did I realize the reason he was trying to get in contact with him before was to confirm the truth. What Leo handed to me today was a telegram addressed to the Visconti. It was from Raul Ghirlandaio. Raul? Why would he be contacting Gil? Gil, how could you side with that bastard? You're gonna side with a beautiful bastard. At least make it Henry, you know? Dante continued, seeing that I was flustered. Raul Ghirlandaio is planning on betraying the family. He aims to dethrone me as boss and already has some of our men on his side. Listen, I don't want Dante to kill Gil, but I kind of feel like it's justified in this, and I'm gonna be like, you deserved it. But I will be fucking pissed if Gil's betrayal means that Dante has to kill Oliver. Look, Dante, I understand, but it doesn't mean I'm not gonna be mad. I'm not mad at you, I'm mad at Gilbert for putting Oliver in this situation. Actually, I'd be the person right now who'd be like, listen, Dante, whoops. I dropped my remote into my couch cushion. Be like, Dante, listen. Do you want to get back at Gil? I know how you get back at Gil. You know how you get back at Gil? I know how to get back at Gil. You want to know? Okay. What I'm gonna need you to do is kill fucking Oliver. I hate the idea, because I love Oliver. But I think you're gonna need to take him out very publicly and very painfully. Teach fucking Gilbert a lesson. Gilbert, you did this. This was your fault. I didn't blame you when Oliver died because of Yang. That was some bullshit. Fuck you, Yang. How dare you kill Oliver? But Gilbert, this is you. This is on you. We would not have tortured poor fucking Oliver and cut off all of his fucking fingers if you hadn't done the fact that I love Oliver so much and I'm willing to sacrifice him to spite Gil for this betrayal tells you how hurt I am by this. This route is so good. It makes me like, it's like, it hurts in so many ways, but they're all like this hurts, this is painful, this is the bad hurting, okay? But it's kind of funny at the same time. You're like, damn, like what the hell? How dare you make me feel my feelings? And then, like, it hurts because Dante's so adorable. You're like, stop it, I can't breathe. And it's like the cute kind of hurt. All over the map here. This is my favorite. I think this is my favorite. Like, I don't know. I mean, what I loved about Gilbert and Orlok's routes was Oliver. His existence and everything he did in those. That was just my favorite. That's what I come across remembering now. But right now, this is just goddamn the best. Because it's making me feel all the different feelings that some of them I don't like. I don't like it at all. Anyway. It is possible that it was Gilbert who led Raul to betray the family from behind the scenes. What? According to the telegram, he's going to be meeting Gilbert in Rome, and they'll be finalizing their deal there. And the reason I let Raoul live is because I wanted to confirm his connections to the government and the fascist party. And given what we knew, there was no reason to suspect a connection between him and the Visconti. But that isn't the only reason why I have my doubts about the Visconti now. I seemed to be certain about what he was about to say next, and I felt myself grow tense. Do you recall Gilbert saying that he hasn't had any deals with Chicago recently? Yes? America? You must mean in Chicago. This is the flashback MVP right now, because this is the second time we've seen this in the last 5 minutes. Come on, Dante. You know the Mafia in Chicago keep to themselves, us being outsiders and all. It's been a while since I've done any business with those guys, to be honest. Because Dante just recalled it, and now we did again. So, like... Listen. Game, simmer it down. Don't become other games. I remembered it quite vividly. The information I received from Nicola proves that what he said was a lie. So, he is working with them? And not only that, but unlike us, the Visconti haven't had any issues with customs. Not once. Couldn't be a coincidence. If it were true, there had to be a reason behind it. I wonder if we're having trouble with customs because of Gil and the Chicago Mafia. This is gonna make frickin' Piofiore Coming to America, the next fan disc, like, really complicated. And the Chicago Mafia have their local connections, and this makes it more difficult for any other organizations to do business there. Under normal circumstances, the Visconti wouldn't be welcome either. It's likely that someone is brokering a deal between them. Assuming Gilbert does have connections with Chicago. Dante appeared calm, but there was a hint of distress in his voice. I wouldn't be surprised if he pulled strings to have our goods seized. That hurts too! Listen, Dante. Gil's a charmer. But I'm gonna need you to take the bitch out, starting at the kneecaps. Let's go break his kneecaps. Did Gil really set up the foul zone? Seeing that I was at a loss for words, Dante smiled at me and spoke reassuringly. What I just said about what's going on in Chicago is merely an assumption, and Nicola is still there looking into the matter. I know Dante's like, it's okay, don't be mad about... Like, he's just, like, worried about us and how sad we feel because Gil's our friend. But again, Dante, it's okay. Bust his fucking kneecaps. He's gonna need to get whacked. You don't fuck with me like this. And I think the best way to hurt Gil, the way he hurt us, is to kill Oliver. Which also hurts me, by the way. That hurts me a lot. We know this. You, me, guys, we know this. We know how much that hurts me. But I will do what needs to be done. Because how dare you, Gil? Like... play this game too long that I am like, listen, let's sacrifice my favorite side character because Gil fucking just, like, stabbed me in the back. And we gotta teach him a lesson. Like, what is wrong with me? I love this game. It's so great. So the reason you're going to Rome is to confirm whether Gil really is connected to Raoul? Yes. I want to know if that telegram is real. I want to confirm whether Gilbert coerced Raoul into betraying our family. And we'll get to the bottom of things then. His statement seemed definitive, but I saw a hint of uncertainty in his eyes. It's gotta hurt! Because Dante, again, is like over there like, what, we're not friends? Blushing, and then he's like, oh, are we friends? And then Gil, like, stabs him in the back, and he's like, I thought we were friends! How could you do that to poor sweet little Marshmallow? Stop it! That makes me more mad. Now we really have to kill Oliver. And again, I don't like doing this. Gil, you made me do this. Help me help you, Gilbert. Don't make me kill Oliver. None of us are going to be happy about it. This game makes me... I need a drink now because of Gilbert. If the Visconti are really trying to put us out of business, it may be possible they'll strike when I'm out of town. If that happened, you'd be their prime target. Then again, I doubt Gilbert would do anything to harm you personally. Dante looked at me with the utmost seriousness. Yeah, Gil is better than hurting a woman. I'm not above hurting Oliver. And I love him. Remember that. Even so, I need to prepare for the worst. Which is why I want you to come with me. I want to protect you myself. Dante, plus we can't miss all the action in the last chapter, you know what I mean? I gazed at him, slowly taking in what he told me, and nodded in confirmation. Understand. I'll go with you. Ooh, meanwhile story. Is it gonna be fucking Gilbert? No, I'm guessing it's Raoul. Like Raoul. Yes, it is. I wonder what Dante's doing now. I assume he's already taken the bait. I made the telegram easy to intercept for the Foul Zone's benefit. I was wondering. There was a part of me that was secretly wondering this. Like, I got this telegram and I'm like, but now I wonder if it's a trap. Yes. Doesn't mean that Gil still didn't backstab us. Because he kind of did. Even if it's just the Chicago shit. He's still backstabbing us, so I still reserve the right to torture Oliver to death just to spite Gil. I don't want to do it, but I'm just saying. It's still on the table. Like, I can tell them directly what Gilbert Redford is planning. I can't tell them directly what Gilbert Redford is planning. I want him to find out for himself. Leading the Foul Zone and the Visconti to battle each other. I couldn't let it be known yet that this was exactly the development I had in mind. Interesting. So then are we wrong in thinking that Gil is betraying us in any way, shape, or form? That Raoul's been doing the whole thing? And making us then I feel really bad about just imagining torturing Oliver to spite Gil. Oliver, please forgive me. He knows, he comes with the job. If Dante comes to Rome, I will need to keep a close eye on his movement. Matteo did say he wanted to greet him, so perhaps I can tell him what's in progress. After all, selling favors to a representative of the church will help me in the long run. Just a little longer until the Foul Zone family is in my hands. I couldn't wait. I'll transform that old family's ways, alongside those who've sided with me. Oh, no, you won't. You're gonna fucking end up dead, bitch. Dante smiled. We're leaving in 3 days. Unpack whatever you need. The following day, I was preparing for a trip to Rome. What should I bring with me? Clothes? Underwear? Socks? Shoes? Phone cord? I'm just kidding. I opened up the suitcase that one of the men brought to me and stared into the empty space. The only time I'd ever left for alone was when I went to the term? Dante? Whatever that is. But unlike then, I wasn't sure how long we would be gone this time. I probably should bring as much as I can fit in here. I should bring a book with me, too. I was just about finished packing. Carlo, who'd been keeping an eye on me all the while, stood atop my things inside. I can't pack the cat in there, girl. Really, Carlo? I have to close it now. I picked Carlo up out of the suitcase and set him down beside it, only to have him force his way back in. Aww. It's as though he knows that I'm going to be away for a while. You want to come too, Carlo? I know you'll be lonely, but not this time. Look, they even have backdrops for Chicago! Come on! The Visconti and Raoul, eh? Any information Dante learned of Malone was being sent to me via telegram. They don't know how to pick up a phone. I mean, telegrams are like doo-doo-doo, like Morse code telegram things, though. And do they actually have, like, just phone telegrams, or do they all just do, like, Morse code telegrams? I mean, back in the day, that was a telegram, you know what I mean? But now it's like, he's getting, like, a piece of paper. It's like, you can't just pick up a phone? I mean, you could pick up a phone, but I mean, I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Like, they couldn't be like, oh, I gotta go to, like, do they not have, like, I don't know, I wasn't alive in 1926, contrary to how old I fucking feel sometimes. But, like, you know what I mean? Like, they didn't have, like, public phones? Guessing probably not. This one said the Visconti hadn't made any real moves yet, likely because they still wanted to avoid conflict. Dante was going to Rome to verify their deal, and he was bringing Space with him. The telegram ended with a note on Domenico and Jeremy taking care of matters while he was gone. Mal's own family has to figure out what to do about our headcount. Well, we had no one to blame but ourselves. After all, we lost a lot of men from the recent purge. I recall joking about that with Dante before I left. Once everything's been resolved, it may be necessary to reconsider our stance on inducting only those of pure blood into the family. I wonder what Silvio might say if he heard that. He could very well crawl out of his grave to stop you. That's a scary thought. I'd better send my message right away. Dante was making the right decision, but aside from that, there are going to be big changes in the market soon. I need his answer right away. I hope you understand that we're going to lose our chance if you don't act on it now. You want to come too, Carlo? I know you'll be lonely, but not this time. What? It wasn't going to be a vacation. It was a trip that could change the future of the family, one bound to come with danger. With Carlo finally out of my suitcase, I finally buckled it closed and breathed a sigh. With Carlo finally out, I finally buckled it and I finally breathed a sigh. I just feel like we should do that once again. Whoa. I suddenly heard a knock on the door. Finally. It's me. Can I come in? Please do. We're sitting there, all these clothes popped out of her suitcase. We're sitting on top of it, trying to stuff everything we own in there. Dante came inside the room and looked at the suitcase I had just closed. You were finished already? Yes, just now. See, I'm sorry if I made you feel rushed. Seeing Dante looking guilty, I laughed and shook my head. Oh, don't worry. You know I don't travel much outside of Berlin. And so I'm actually excited to be able to go to Rome. Oh, but I do understand it's not a vacation or anything of the sort. I added that last part quickly, and Dante smiled with relief. I see. Though I can't be sure what leisure time can be had, I'll do what I can to make some time for us to spend together. Really? I'd love that. Knowing he was thinking about me was enough, but I was feeling even more optimistic now. We can have a real vacation together once things settle down. It seemed that, more than to appease me, he was genuinely looking forward to such plans. Okay, see, here's the thing. Even if they don't have a Piofiore Coming to America fan disc, right? They could still have, a vacation one where we're like, hey, it's about time we took a beach vacation or something, and we go to, different destinations with everybody. You know what I mean? Code Realize had a second fan disc, 3 games, you know what I mean? Because we had, the little winter scenarios. So I'm just saying... And Hakuoki has 700. Which all need to be localized, by the way. If they're bringing Hakuoki Sweet School Life to fucking the Switch, they're making a port, they can make a localization, all I'm saying. I'm just feeling this in my bones now. Because I'm just very surprised that the 32 fan discs for Hakuoki have never been localized. You know? Because it's such a huge thing. And they port it to everything. All the ports. That game gets its little fucking shit and all up in everybody's ports. So I'm just we could localize all of them, because I'm totally fine with that. Just saying. Anyway. It seemed that, more than to appease me, he was genuinely looking forward to such plans. Is there some place you'd like to visit? We can even go overseas if you'd like. Overseas? Well... Since I'm learning English, how about America? See? There we go. We're going to go on vacation to Chicago. Oh, but my pronunciation isn't very good yet. I've been practicing by listening to the records. I blushed, feeling somewhat embarrassed at the idea. But Dante looked at me with kind eyes. That's true. It's not like you can pop on a podcast or put some Pimbler learning in your ear. You've managed to learn how to read and write English already. I'm sure you'll have no trouble speaking it soon. There's no need to rush. I can speak English too, and I want you to rely on me. I mean, without thinking about language, is there any other place you'd like to go? We can go to France, England, anywhere. But we should avoid Germany. Yeah, it's kind of smart. Germany? Oh, that's right. The fascist movement has become increasingly anti-Semitic, and their leaders actively discriminating against Jewish businesses. Did you mention it? In the newspaper you gave me... There was an article about a well-known businessman in America being accused of anti-Semitism as well. God, I can't say that. Yes, I believe it was uncovered a few years back. However, if Germany's global influence continues to strengthen... I mean, can you just imagine? Piofiore could get serious. It'd be like Piofiore America, where they go through the Great Depression and then they go to fucking World War II. It's like, can we just not? Maybe we shouldn't. In the middle of the conversation, Dante stopped as though he had realized something. Dante? Is something the matter? And there's something I've been thinking on for some time. What is it? Come to think of it, he also seemed deep in thought like this back in his office. Dante turned to me with a serious look. And do you recall when I was explaining to you how the stock market worked? Yes. Right now, one company has a near monopoly over the American automotive industry. Buying the company's stock at this point won't yield much profit to new investors. With their stock being as expensive as it is, gaining majority share would be impossible. I expect overall profits to plateau soon. Well, yeah, consider it. I'm just saying. In order to see better growth, I need to target relatively unknown companies. Meaning, you plan on buying stock from these companies while they're still inexpensive? Yes. That made a lot of sense, but it also seemed easier said than done. I mean, yeah, because you never know if something's going to take off. Like, you know what I mean? Like, at this point, investing in Ford Motor Company was like, well, I mean, it's a given. But, like, in the very beginning, it was like, I don't know, a horseless carriage? You know what I'm saying? What? You know? Even I could tell there was a great risk in speculating on an unknown company's potential. I'm pretty sure Ford wasn't the first one invented cars, but you know what I mean. It's the first American car. But you know what I mean? Like, but it would have been like, still iffy, you know? So, what's been bothering you? The founder of the large company is known for his anti-Semitism. Semitic. Can't say that? I can say anti-Semitic, but I can't say, like, I don't know why. I don't know, anyway. So there's movement among the Jewish community in boycotting his vehicles. The company also hasn't made any new models recently, so they're losing popularity among consumers looking to upgrade their vehicles. Getting a little history lesson in American motors. Like in America, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of interesting. In other words, a greater percentage of the market will go to other makers than before. And we're going to jump in on GM. Did I start out as that? Anyway. As Dante spoke, it sounded as though he was talking to himself now. Dante? I'm sorry, Space. I need to do some research. He gave my arm a light touch before heading to the door. This is adorable. He's like, wait! And then you're like, okay, he's just nerding out. As he took hold of the doorknob, he continued to mumble to himself. This is fucking adorable. That's right. I need to contact Nicola again before going to Rome, too. Oh, good luck with work, Dante. I was startled by Dante's sudden behavior, but I wished him well as usual. That was very strange. It was, but it's cute. I suppose Dante must have had some sort of epiphany. It's kind of funny. 2 days later, we left for Rome with Leo and a few of the other soldiers as our bodyguards. As we drove through the forest, I looked back to watch the sight of Berlone shrinking away. The buildings along the road and the swans drifting across the river looked brilliant. Leo had some business to attend to, so we parted ways when we arrived at Roma Termini. He said he'd be taking a separate train to Venice. As for me and Dante, we arrived at the hotel and were escorted to our rooms by the guards. I set down my luggage, taking in a deep breath to manage my excitement. Did you see the Colosseum on the way here? My heart was pounding at the sight of it. I can't believe we're actually in Rome. We even passed by the famous Basilica of Santa Maria and Cosmedin? Well, I don't know how to say that. Anyway, where the Mouth of Truth stood. Yes, I noticed you were looking out the window the whole time. I'm glad the trip didn't bore you. Dante took his hat off as he spoke, pausing briefly before continuing. But I am sorry we couldn't make any stops to sightsee while in Rome. Not at all. I was having a lot of fun seeing it all one right after the other. You're like, nah, it counts. I saw it out the window. Good enough. It's all touristy. I don't want to go there. Although we may not be able to do much this time around, I do want us to come here again. Rome's more accessible to us than overseas, so we can return fairly soon. We'll have a luxury vacation then. Promise. Really? That'd be wonderful. Dante then looked at the clock and blinked in surprise. And this late already, you must be feeling hungry by now. Oh, well, now that you mention it, my stomach growling. Let's have dinner then. And the drive here was draining after all. That would be great, but are you sure? We did come to Rome for a specific reason. Wanted to be sure that it wouldn't disrupt his plans. I received word that Gilbert's expected at a hotel on Via de Cerci tomorrow? Whatever, anyway. Something. I assume that's where he'll meet Raoul, which means I have some time tonight. See. Let's have something good to eat for dinner. Why don't we leave the hotel and find a place nearby? I'd love to. Thank you, Dante. Dante offered his hand to me and I stood up, heading out with him for our dinner. Ooh. Okay, this little thing. I was like, it's getting close to time, and I'm like, Anyway, we walked along Rome's lamp-lit roads together. That alone was special enough to fill me with joy beyond compare. The city, even the air we're breathing, was different from the coastal Berlin. We sat down nearby, where we sat at a table facing the beautiful nighttime streets. Oh, we settled down nearby, sorry. Alright, we'll just keep going. First came our appetizers. A plate of marinated potatoes accented with chopped anchovies and prosciutto with freshly cut figs. As I admired the dish, I heard a familiar voice. Hey, didn't expect to see you guys here. Uh-oh. I kind of wondered, because Raoul was, like, setting everybody up, right? So I don't necessarily... I'm not saying Gilbert's innocent, but I'm just saying, alright, maybe rushing to be like, you were stabbing us in the back is exactly what Raoul wanted, and I fell for it. Okay. I'm not saying I wasn't bamboozled by Raoul, alright? Because he's pretty, so easily bamboozles. Like me, okay? You know? Even if he's a douchebag, it's like, I didn't mean, but he was pretty. Look at his suit. You know. I'm easily bamboozled by suits, okay? I'm a suit sexual. My sexuality is suit. If it's got fucking suit, I'm into it. I don't... Look. I'm simple, okay? Glasses, suit, done. Okay? But, you know, like, I was kind of wondering when Raoul was like, oh yeah, ha ha, the Visconti and the Belzone will fight. And I was like, I wonder if he send something specifically to Gilbert. Like, he sent that telegram knowing we'd intercept it, or making it easy for us to intercept, so that we would think he was backstabbing us with Gil, but then something else went to the Visconti that led them to think, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not 100% sure. I'm still don't trust Gil at this point. But I don't know that Raoul didn't just set it up so that Gil's shit didn't get, but Gil still lied to us. Like, oh yeah, no, I haven't been dealing with them, but he has been. So he's still lying to us about that. So did he, like, work with Chicago to get our shit, like, confiscated? You know what I mean? Or was that a Raoul thing to make him look bad? Like, I'm not really sure where he stands. I still don't 100% trust him, though. But I'm not sure it's backstabby enough to warrant us taking out Oliver just to spite him. Because I don't want to have to go down that route, but I'm just saying, I'm willing. Okay. Anyway. Gil? I nearly yelled his name out in surprise. Dante quickly regained his composure and narrowed his eyes at Gil. Gilbert, what are you doing here? Without asking permission, Gil sat down at our table and spoke in his casual way. Such a fucking mafia boss move. Easy now. No need to be all scary and the like. Is that any way to treat me when I'm the whole reason you came up here in the first place? Heck, I don't even know which hotel you're staying at. The one you and Nicola always go to whenever you get a job down here, right? Place is as secure as they come. Costs an arm and a leg, but the service is top-notch. Figured it was about dinner time, so I thought I'd just mosey around, peek into some establishments, and lo and behold... Gil seemed to have not a care in the world, but Dante's expression only grew tighter with each word. I know, because he's over there like, you're backstabbing me! Thought we were friends! Or Marshmallow. Dante spoke in a low voice that conveyed his displeasure. How dare you show your face to me? He didn't attempt to hide the anger he felt. As Gil sighed, his smile faded. I'm going to assume you came here because you know what's going on. So how much do you know? The Italian mafia has been subject to severe inspections at customs in Chicago. I've most cargo being confiscated. Yet the Visconti has gotten their goods through customs without any issue, meaning you have someone helping you from the other side. Not at all. If anything, it'd say I'm coasting on luck as usual. Gil shrugged and looked over at me. Or Gil thinks he's coasting on luck. But I don't know about that. I think he's lying. Hey, Space. What do you think? Thought for a bit before answering. There's something going on! That's exactly what I think. I don't know. I think there's something going on. I don't know what it is, but... Ooh! Save file 3, motherfuckers! I know, now we're over time, because, like... Gil had to show up and make it dramatic! Okay. And then the right answer is... There's something going on! I think there's something going on. Of course, I don't want to believe that you would do anything to harm us, but... I had to be honest with Gil. But Gil... I swear to God, I will kill Oliver. And you know how much I love Oliver. Make me take him out, Gil. I'm scary. You said before that you weren't doing any deals in Chicago. But now you're saying your goods weren't confiscated because of good luck. He had basically admitted to still shipping his goods to Chicago. Is that so? Huh. Guess you're right. Despite being caught, Gil didn't look uneasy. On the contrary, he seemed to be smiling with satisfaction. Well, I am from Chicago. Can't say I don't have old buddies there. But do you really think that's enough for the big eyes to give the Viscontis special treatment? It seemed Gil was going to be firm in his stance that they weren't getting any help from Chicago, but Dante responded immediately. I feel like, you know, it's possible Raoul's trying to set this up so that Dante gets angry and then Gil's like, well, nothing's going on, and then it's like, then they fight, and then, like, whatever. But why is Gil not being a little more transparent and being like, look, yeah, I did say we weren't doing any deals, and that's just because, whatever his reasoning is. I'm trying to keep it to myself, but also he's like, I really did just think it was luck. Are you saying that you think there's something else going on? And like, whoa, 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 you know what I mean? Like, but the fact that he's like, oh, you're here because of me, I don't know. He knows more than he's letting on, and it's suspicious. You know? And if he actually did give a damn and wasn't trying to be shady, I feel like he'd be a little more transparent. Not full on lay all your cards on the table, because, you know, you gotta keep shit close, you know? You got deals going on, you gotta keep that shit secret. But, like, you'd be a little more open about it, because you should trust us more than you trust Raoul. All I'm saying, so. Compared to the other families, the Falzone has sustained significantly more damage than anyone else. It's not impossible that someone's intentionally leaking information related to our family. Answer me, Gilbert. Did you sell the Falzone to Chicago? That's what you think, is it? Gil met Dante's glare with one of his own. And now Gil's like, I'm hurt that you would think that. It's like, well, look at the evidence! Assuming that's the case, it's still too risky. There's something else at work, isn't there? Not so sure myself. Gil shrugged off the subject and said nothing more. It's the fact that Gil's playing so fucking coy about everything that you're like, the fuck, dude? Dante frowned, irritated by his demeanor. I don't blame him. I looked down at his hand and saw him clenching his fist in frustration. Hey, not here. We got eyes on us, you know. I think it's for the best that we don't draw our bean shooters. Now then, about this something else at work. What makes you say that? Dante was still glaring at Gil. Assuming I'm not mistaken, the next question is, why would you decide to sell the Falzone? Is it for money? To get on Chicago's good side? There are other means to acquire both. It'd be a great danger for the Visconti to make enemies of the Falzone, as both of us lay claim to the very same town. Gil's eye narrowed as he stared at Dante. After a short while, he began to speak. I really do give props to this game for always throwing out Gil's eye, singular. The man's got an eye patch. It's only got one eye. So I love the fact that this game is always on ball with that. Just saying. It's a small detail, but I appreciate it. You haven't forgotten, have you, Dante? If I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. There's no future for the Mafia here. We, the Visconti, have no future unless we work with Chicago. We need to make a choice if we want to survive. We're at that fork in the road now. Forget about that fancy mission of yours for a sec. As part of the Mafia, the Falzone can't cover their ears to the truth forever. He'll look Dante straight in the eye. What are you gonna do, Dante? Dante paused for a moment, then slowly rose from his seat and fucking leaving. Whoa! Gil stood up faster than Dante, smiling and distancing himself a bit. You want to have a shootout here? Well, don't. I have no intention of running away anyway. Gil pulled a piece of paper out of his pocket and handed it to Dante. Let me guess. You got information that said I'd be working a deal at a hotel on Via de Cerchi? Whatever, tomorrow, right? That's a trap. You want to settle things once and for all. Do it only after you made up your mind as boss of the Falzone. Oh yeah, and bring the lovely Signorina. You packed her in your suitcase because you're worried about her, right? Mind you, no matter what happens, I won't ever lay a hand on the lady, but... Something like a flame flickered in his gaze. You don't come. If you don't have your answer by then, or if you think it's good enough to act out a half measure, my respect for you goes right out the window. We're gonna have an all-out war between the Visconti and the Falzone. Okay, I've got to be honest right now. You're like, Gil, you can... This is why Gil's so charming. He stands up and you're like, the ball's on this man right now. And you're like, I'm impressed. And I'm here for it. Like, Gil, you need to stop lighting a fire in me. Because, like, right now, you're like, you are so hot right now. I love Dante to death, but, like, you are so hot right now. Stop it. This isn't fair. This route is just everything. Jesus Christ. It's my favorite so far. But, like, I also like, he's like calling Dante out, like, don't be a bitch. And it's like, oh my God, Gil, don't you dare. Don't you dare fucking badmouth Dante. We're so hot right now, but don't badmouth Dante. Dante quietly took the paper from Gil. With one last smile, Gil took his leave. But I mean, I love it because it's like, Jesus Christ. Oh. This isn't even your route. Although still a bit rattled, we tried to make the most of our time at dinner together. I kept myself as bright and happy as possible. Dante avoided talking about what happened by remarking on the various sights in Rome. After our dinner, we returned to the hotel. I finished getting ready for bed and was about to go to sleep when... dun dun dun! When nothing. Get nothing! Dante spoke mine. You can't find out what he said until the next part, because we're over. So, I will see you guys. I said so a million times. I will see you next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.